All right. Let's see how this works out for us. Let's do this. Yeah, this is that type of video. Natural lighting only. So, why are you like Jamal? Why are you doing this in the dark? Well, this is a shared car. I'm not killing no battery for y'all. But let's get into it. I talked about this in two previous videos that I did not upload, and I don't know why, but I'm just gonna scrap them and do this one. So, in the first video, I was walking, just went for a walk. I couldn't play like my cardio, so either tennis or soccer. So I went for a run, and I don't go on walks or runs a lot, and I haven't done it in a while. So I just thought, I'm gonna go do it. It was beautiful, and the whole aspect and kind of why I'm not using light right now is the whole point of this video is in everything you do or wherever your environment is, wherever you live, whatever you see, you should be 100% grateful for. And you're like, yeah, easier said than done. You could be living in wherever, and like, yeah, that's 100% true. I don't live in a poor state. Like, alhamdulillah, thank God, this is where Allah has placed me. But I know what it is to live with legit nothing, or not knowing if you're gonna eat the next day. Like, I've lived part of that in my life when I was younger, and like I've lived, and alhamdulillah, I've lived where I'm very comfortable. I lived where if I asked for something, I can have it on like a very like decent level, not legit just anything, but like alhamdulillah, Allah has shown me different levels in life that maybe not a lot of people would go through, in a sense where maybe I could have stayed where I wouldn't know where my food's coming, or I could have just stayed in best living, and not understand what it is to struggle, and to empathize. But for the longest part of my life, I moved a lot, and even when I was stationary, I changed schools a lot. Like, especially when I was in Saudi Arabia as a kid, for about most of my life, or the main years of my life, I was changing schools. Like, in the span of 7 years, I went to 5 different schools, and I became like a very like I'm very used to change. I can easily get comfortable anywhere I go, right? And you're like, okay, so what? And because I can get comfortable, the reason I'm saying this is sometimes a lot of people, for example, like they can live in Saudi Arabia, America, or a certain state their whole life and think that's the best thing, and they could travel everywhere in the world, but they love their state so much. And then there's other people that just can't stand their state or country, wherever they're living, and they need to move out just for a change, and wherever they move will be the best place ever for them. Everyone's different. But for me, I've stayed in a place for long enough, and I've changed consistently, whether it be living in the UK, living in Saudi Arabia, living in the US. Um, like, I've seen different areas in life, and none of them I got culture shock at all. I just get comfortable easily. And what I mean by loving the beauty is now where I live in Oregon, for the longest time, I was very like, in the beginning, it was new place, it was new scenery, all that kind of stuff, cool. And then it got so gloomy to me, because Oregon, if you live in Oregon, Oregon is a very gloomy state. It in the summer it's very sunny for long hours of the day, but in the winter, and even sometimes some days in the summer, if it's rainy, it's very gloomy, and it'll be like that for the whole day, right? And for most of the year, it's like that through winter, spring, and fall. Obviously, spring you start to see more sun, but even then, sometimes it's like that. And for a while, I just felt so like, if you believe in depression, you can believe it. If you don't believe it, you don't believe it. But I don't think I was depressed, but I think I was just very down. I was very, like, I didn't have a lot going in my life in a sense of like passion or motivation or drive, and everything just became repetitive. And I was sitting at a big window at my school, and I was just talking with my friend, and he's somebody who's always happy. I've seen him in his highs, I've seen him in his lows, I've been there for him in his lows, and I've seen him bounce back very quickly. And I'm someone who bounces back very quickly too as well. But I'll bounce back quickly, but stay stagnant, if that makes sense, in a sense where I don't continue that growth for like certain aspects of my life. Because like, the way you do one thing is how you do everything, which is very true. If you slack in one area, you're most likely slacking in others. But I believe that to be partially true because I might slack in the gym, but when it comes to money, I'm not slacking at all, or vice versa, or in anything really. I could slack in all the stuff in my life except for one area, right? But you get what I'm trying to say. But anyways, I asked him like, bro, how are you always happy? Legit, word for word, bro, how are you always happy all the time? And he just goes, hey man, and keep in mind like there's the big window and we're looking out outside our school and it's a gloomy day. And he goes, look man, you see that trees, you see the sky, the beautiful sky, you see the beautiful people walking by, and it's probably that those beautiful people could have probably be having a bad day. You never know. But he was just looking at the beauty of things rather than I've been trying to find a word, but gloating I think is the right word, or if someone could correct me in the comments, whoever ever watches this, but gloating or just staying in the sadness or the downness or the drained portion of yourself. And it's like Alex Ramosi said, like if you can be in a bad mood for no reason, why not be in a good mood for no reason, right? So it just sunk with me with what he was saying, and it just kind of like, I don't know, it gave me a different perspective in life. It made me think like in all my scenarios in life, I always saw the good, but when I got so content and so comfortable, I stopped seeing the good and only focus on the bad. Which is sometimes it's a good thing because you're looking at what's bad about your life, what you need to change, what you can do better in. But then there's also that aspect of just only looking at the bad and never seeing the good. And for a while, it was like that for me. Um, so everyone's different, right? And to me, sometimes I naturally always have a good day. I always like laughing and joking and stuff. But we all have our days. Like everyone's human. Like you don't necessarily have to be a sad in one of your those quote unquote days, but you could just be down. You could just be tired. You could be just exhausted. You don't want to do much, which is completely fine. You can feel that way. It's just what you actually do. But anyways, yeah, just in those areas to just see the beauty. And I just watched today someone saying about like there was the top 25 athletes are completely different than the top five. And the guy was like, the difference is the top 25, right? So it's the top 30, but the lower 25 after the top five, of course. The difference is between the top five is that the top five, at 15 to 20 seconds after they make a mistake, they're instantly talking to themselves in a positive way. In a way where it's like, it's fine, we'll get back at it, I'm good, next shot I'll make it, all that kind of stuff. And the lower 25 were probably insane athletes, but they would always like, oh shoot, I missed it, I'm gonna lose the championship, I'm not a champion, I'm not this, then the other. And it's like, it's very interesting what you tell yourself. And again, that's the beauty of life. Look at the beautiful stuff and look at the good stuff, and don't dwell too much in the bad or the hate. And I feel like I do that a lot, and I'm not able to push myself for for myself because I think about these things, because I put a cap on myself, right? And a side note too is like I was watching this video too about Alex Hormozy as well, or he said something. He's like, it was in a LinkedIn post, I believe. He said that when you are younger, you're trading your health and your time for wealth. Like I want to say 20s, and then you're probably your 30s, 40s is you're trading your health and your wealth for time. And then when you're 60s, 70s, maybe 50s even, you're trading your wealth and time for health, which is very interesting. And it got me thinking like, why not have a better mindset and look at the beauty of things, and why not trade your wealth or trade your time for wealth and health in the beginning? You know what I mean? Like, we all have busy schedules, but like, I'm not asking for you to do 2 hours in the gym like some people where they get jacked up doing that. But like, what if you go an hour? Or what if you don't even go to the gym? You find something on Facebook Market, which is like calisthenics, or you just buy it with like something, where it's like whatever is more cost effective to you. Like Gary Vee, he says, work-life balance is completely different to everybody. My work-life balance can be wake up 6 a.m., go to the gym, then do work, and then whatever is. But like I'm referencing Alex Hormozy again because he's the only person I can think of right now. But it could be anyone. But for him, the first thing he wakes up, I believe he doesn't brush or do anything. He goes straight to work, in the sense of his business or whatever he needs to, the biggest task he needs to get done. which is like, that's his life, that's his work-life balance. For you, it could be wake up, do all your routine, whatever it is, and then do your work at the end of the day. That could be productive for you, but maybe not necessarily, because maybe you're wasting time. But like, if that works for you and you become a billionaire for that, like, who cares? It doesn't matter, you know. And that's just like, again, the beauty of it, your environment. Like you are who you are, so don't talk yourself down. But obviously, don't don't be the don't only give yourself good talk when you are. Shoot. Oh, please tell me. Oh my God, that was a cop. And I was kind of speeding, but not really. But anyways, don't be like the guy who's like only saying so good where you don't work on the bad, you know? And again, too, like, we could even go back to like when I said like the way I lived my life, like I lived in different areas or different like financial circumstances in the sense of wealth and health and all that kind of stuff. Like, if you're living in the hood, bro, or like in the projects, whatever it is, like, but it's like it's so easy for you to just like be so down because that's where the system puts you. Everyone's in a system, right? I believe to a certain degree because you're programmed. Like, everyone's programmed. Everyone. There's no one that's not programmed. And when I mean programmed, I don't mean like no matrix stuff. Partially, yes, but like you're programmed from your parents, from your environment, all that kind of stuff, right? So regardless, so your programming, being living in the hood, is struggle and you can't make it out. That's legit. I'm almost home, so why not? That's legit your program. You have legit people who make it out are the people who change that program. It's what you tell yourself, right? So it's just like, look at the beauty. Like, but if you're in the hood of the projects, or you're not in like lower class, wherever you are, like, just like say, like, thank God. Like, for me, bro, like, I don't have multiple cars. I only have one car. Some people live in like lower income houses and they already have 2 3 cars, or in the hood or the projects, wherever you want to call it, they have 2 3 cars. That's their luxury, even though they're living like they might not have the best food and all that stuff. That's their luxury. I don't have that, so I have to share. Like, and you can buy, why not just get another car if you're living good? Like, everyone's different. Like, you to just instantly assume that is like, you're just assuming off the base judgment of the very basic stuff I'm telling you, right? Everyone, there's little details in everything, but regardless, I'm gonna park this way because I don't want y'all looking at my thing. But yeah, there's like multiple things. Like, we can say, even if you're living in the suburbs, maybe your programming is you're so content with everything, you've gotten everything you ever wanted. And this is like, each of these are extremes. Maybe you're in the suburbs, but you still have to work for certain stuff, whatever it is, right? But you're living in the suburbs and you got everything handed to you, or I say handed to you, but like, maybe you've worked for some things or whatever, but usually there's nothing that you cannot get, if that makes sense. Maybe you're not gonna buy a mansion with a yacht in one day, but like, if you ask your dad, your family, or if you know people, like, you have the luxury more to get more of what you want, if that makes sense, or afford more, or buy more, or spend more, or sell more, whatever the heck it is, right? But you become so content in life that your program is not changing you to push harder, or you are whatever the heck it is. Like, everyone's program is different. So again, talk to yourself in that beautiful way. Talk to yourself in that kind way. Talk to yourself, like, listen, there are people who go the Andrew Tate route where they call themselves a-holes, lazy, uh, 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 brokies, whatever stuff. If that works for you, then that's what's gonna work for you. I can't, like, that works for you, then that works for you. Sometimes that works for me when I tell myself, when I'm very blunt and harsh on myself, it makes me want to push. And then there's other times where when I'm more kinder to myself, like, Jamal, I got this. I know I'm having a bad day. It's okay to have a bad day, but we're still gonna have to push ourselves to get to where we need to get to. That also helps me too. Like, everyone's different. Maybe you're one extreme and the next, and someone else is the other extreme, and maybe you're in the middle, and maybe you're a little bit of both. Like, bro, like, do whatever works for you. That's the beauty of life. Like, again, look at life so beautifully that there's nothing to hate on it, but only to improve in it with what you have, right? Because you can't improve the trees. You can't improve how trees are grown and how they die. You can't improve that at all. Maybe you can elongate the lifespan, whatever. But when a flower blooms, it's gonna come out the stem. It's gonna grow some leaves, and then it's gonna grow the flower itself, and then it's gonna bloom, and then it slowly is gonna die. Maybe you can elongate that. Maybe you can shorten it, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, the cycle is always going to be the same. Life and the world is always going to be the same. The only things that are going to change are the people and partially the environment in a sense of technology and buildings. Point blank, period. Other than that, everything's going to stay the same. Water is always going to be water. Freaking sand is always going to be sand. Rocks are always going to be rocks. If you're going to freaking do artificial rocks, whatever it is, I'm talking about the basics of general life. Nothing is going to change unless you make a change to go see the changes you haven't seen. If that makes sense. So there's that kind of spiel, that waffle that I'm giving you guys. But yeah, man, don't. And again, too, like in order to get to that too, like you also are programmed by your friends, right, and who you hang around with. Bro, don't worry about what your friends say. If they push you, they encourage you, good. But once they cross the line, or once they overstep, or once they get into a territory where you're not comfortable with, remove that completely. Or legit tell, even if it's hard for you to do that, then talk to them. Tell them like, yo, stop talking to me this way. Stop communicating to me this way. Stop acting this way around me. This or whatever. Make it very clear. You don't have to necessarily be rude, but like someone's saying something to you, like, please don't ever call me that again, or please don't ever talk to me that again. Like, oh, but we always do it. Like, okay, that's fine, but this is where today this is kind of where it stops. I don't like it, nor do I feel comfortable, nor will I tolerate it. And I don't think if this is like how we communicate, we'll go any further. Whatever it is, right? And it's just like boom. And if you're the only one saying it, and then they get irritated at you for whatever it is because they're not necessarily telling you and telling you how maybe you could fix or whatever it is, there's no point, right? Like when you tell somebody something like, I want you to stop doing this because it makes me feel this, you already gave them the step by telling them not to do it, right? But maybe they might not know exactly how to because they do it so much. You like maybe like think about it more, maybe like right before you think before you say anything, or usually you make a face, try to be cautious, try to be more self-aware, whatever it is. Even sometimes you have to have these conversations, right? Makes me think of a conversation I had with a couple of friends. Like one of my friends, I talked to them that way. It wasn't the best way, but instead of communicating and getting better at it, they became stubborn and we don't talk no more, right? And that's healthy for me. Why? Because and for them, because that wasn't even gonna work in the first place. Right now in this moment that I think about it, then I have another friend where the same conversation in a different format happened, and it's like because we both want growth and we don't want to gloat and we don't want to stay stagnant and we both don't want to, that's not, we kind of like both thought about it in our own ways because we're very different but very similar. We understood like, okay, we need to grow, and sometimes that might pop out and maybe I might forget to say anything because I was so used to it, and you have to be uphold that to yourself too, to tell like this is where it ends. And if they instantly say something, oh, but you don't do this, like, okay, let me know when I don't do it because I might not be aware and blah blah. I know this is built to a whole other stuff, but you get the point. I'm just here to waffle. This is what this freaking channel's for. But appreciate you guys for listening. This is a fun video. Next video, I want to talk about health and food, and maybe like 2-3 meals on how you can get your calories and protein in. So yeah, I need to be more consistent again with these videos, and that's what I kind of have been doing. I've recorded a lot, but I just haven't posted it. But I'm happy that I'm just recording. So yeah, I appreciate y'all. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're doing well. Stay healthy. Stay focused. Stay determined. One thing I want to do and learn how to want to win more and be competitive more because I love winning, but like not like but when I play games or like sports or whatever it is, like I obviously love winning, but I don't push myself enough to do it. And I feel like that, like again, how you do everything is how you do one thing is kind of how you do everything. I take that lightly, but literally as well. Um, it's something I want to improve in. So every video, I think I want to say what is something I want to improve in, and or maybe say the one thing so it's consistent, so that I'm held accountable to it, whatever it is. But yeah, again, hope you have a good one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.